This is a gold nugget moment from the Beside the Badge podcast. If you enjoy this, please like, subscribe, and share with your friends.
So now I'm going to get to the point where I'm really telling on myself. I go to my friend, and I've had some medical training. I'm not an EMT or a paramedic, but I could probably help you keep the red Kool-Aid inside your torso long enough for them to get there and take over. I've done it a couple of times at certain scenes. And so here I am at this scene, and as I'm at this scene, I'm checking my buddy for injuries, and I'm checking him, making sure he's not been stabbed or shot, because believe it or not, in one of these altercations with all these things happening, that does happen, and you don't even know it. And so, did he have a knife out or something similar? I don't know. So I'm checking his arm, the inside of his arm. I loosen his vest so he can breathe, and I get him sitting down on the hood of a vehicle, and I'm treating my friend and taking care of my friend. And so here's the part I'm not terribly proud of, but God showed me just what I didn't know, and God showed me just what it is that these men and women who put on these uniforms every day, what they have to be capable of enduring. Because when I tell you that this man is like my brother, I mean it. I don't know any other way to convey that. I mean it. And I've said this before. My wife isn't terribly fond of it when I say it, but I mean it. If you told me right now that my friend's life was in danger and that I would go and I would die, but he would live, I would leave now. I cannot explain to you. That is the brotherhood, and that is the love that these people have for each other, and that is the love that I have for them. Scripture is very clear. Greater love hath no man than that he would lay down his life for his friends. And I'm not saying that I'm great. I'm saying there's some pretty incredible people that put on badges every day to take care of us. And so here I am at the scene, and this guy's on the ground spitting blood and vitriol. He's a lot of venom coming out of his mouth. And he's blankety blank glad that he hurt that blankety blank cop. And I stopped. There's an old song by Kenny Rogers that goes, "You could have heard a pin drop when Tommy stopped and locked the door." Yeah, I did not have a good moment at that point. And I'm the chaplain, and I'm standing here, and I was Hulk smash angry. And I thought, how dare you? And he was talking about getting out of jail, and he was going to get even, and he was talking about how he was going to hurt my friend, and he was glad he hurt my friend already, and he's glad he hurt him. And I stopped, and in my head I saw me taking the top of my boot and kicking him flat across the face. I mean, my intention was to kick him in the face as hard as I could and his head come off. I mean, that was the anger that I felt. And I turned around and I took one step. Now he's about 20 feet from me. And then my brain caught up with my anger, and I stopped and went, right, but that's a felony, and that's not only wrong, and I'm not only the chaplain, but I will have to get arrested by the very people I was just helping a moment ago, just helping. The guy is no longer a threat. He's just running his mouth. And so, base, you can't hurt me. I'm in handcuffs, neener, neener. That's what this guy's doing. And I stopped and went, oh, this is what this feels like. Oh, I thought I knew. Oh, I thought I had a handle on this. Oh, I thought I had the self-control. I thought I knew how I would react. I stopped and I just kind of rocked forward in that position, and I never got within 19 feet of the guy. And I'm looking at him and I'm boiling with anger. And I look and I see my friend's face and his boss's face and the mutual aid department officer's face. And I realize they are experiencing everything I'm experiencing. For them, the 100th, the 1,000th, the 10,000th time. For me, the first. The average person, and I'm going to say, picture that this is your loved one. This is your child. This is your brother, your sister, your father, your mother. This is your best friend. And someone has just hurt them. Your loved one is in agony, and then somebody goes, "I'm blankety blank glad I hurt your friend, your brother, your sister, your father, your mother." Yeah, that's where I was at. And the Lord showed me, and I was like, whoa, hey now, this is what this is like. Yeah. And I can tell you that most of the time, 9 times out of 10, 95 times out of 100, the good guys show the restraint that they need to. And they don't act on it. The officer that had to drive the 2 people to jail who attacked his coworker, that had dropped acid and shot up meth, that officer, I sent him a text message, and I said, be careful to hold your temper and honor your badge. and he sends me back. He did the love response to it and thanked me, because sometimes we need a reminder to honor that badge. And I say me in the sense that I'm awful close to it. I'm very close to these men and women. They are my family, and I love them. If you're a police officer and this resonates with you, and you wish people in the general public, the private citizenry out there, the silent majority, understood what you go through, please share this. If you haven't already, go ahead and subscribe. This is the real guts and bolts, the bloody gooey mess that people deal with, that are behind the badge. And the Lord has definitely opened my eyes to the humanity of it. That man, I'll go back briefly to, there was a man that had abducted his girlfriend for a weekend and beat her senseless. I mentioned it in another podcast, and he had beat her senseless and basically held her hostage for a weekend. There was a call that came in about sounds of violence coming from this house. And when the officer went to investigate, I saw him turn around and look at me, and I saw the look on his face, and I knew it was going to be bad. And when he entered, she was, just suffice it to say, she was in bad shape, and she was laying there in a pool of her own blood, tears, and urine. Think about that. And not only is that not sanitary, how humiliating and psychologically damaging. And he had thrown boiling hot water on her back. Again, he's headed to prison, if he's not in prison already. But the amount of restraint that an officer has to show in that moment, because just about any red-blooded male, and quite a few women, would go, leave me alone with him for a few minutes, because I would like to have a very one-sided conversation with this piece of human filth. Now, I'm a firm believer that anybody can give their life to the Lord and be redeemed, but you still owe a debt to society. You still owe a debt to the state. That is the kind of thing that the men and women behind the badge see on the regular.
This has been a Gold Nugget Moment from the Beside the Badge podcast. Find us wherever you get your podcasts.